The anime begins with a moving bus, where two children are playing online games and a boy is so bored and yawning. The name of the boy is Itsuki. The bus stops in front of a school and Itsuki enters the main entrance. A security guard hinders his way and asks for his ID. He starts searching for his ID, but perhaps he misplaces it somewhere, so the guard considers him shady. A girl who is the school president hits nearby and recognizes him as a student of Class 2B, but the guard is still not convinced. In an instant, she moves ahead and Itsuki thanks him. Also, he finds his ID. The name of the president is Rina Izumi-san. Everyone in the school praises her success and presents her with flowers and gifts. She is back in school after along with clearing up the national exams. Itsuki is chatting with his friend and moving towards the cafeteria, and he presents the sweets. They are discussing about Itsuki's sister as she is busy in job hunting nowadays. They hear of tonight's event named Phantasy Star Online 2, and Itsuki is recommended to join the event. The scene switches to Itsuki's place, where he is resting and gets a notification on his laptop screen. She is the school president calling to meet her after school, so he is jumping with joy. The next morning, he discusses the email with his friend and he is amazed to hear this, because the president never emails anyone personally. Meanwhile, the president passes nearby with a crowd praising and chasing her. She is so charming. The scene jumps to the opening ceremony of Sega Academy, where the president is making a motivational speech. She is an all-rounder, an enthusiastic sportsperson, a painter and a musician. In short, she is great at everything she puts her mind to. Itsuki and his friends are in the cafeteria chattering and laughing when he hears that it's past 6. He gets astonished and remembers the meeting with the president. So he instantly runs towards the hall and the president's crew is angry at him for being late. However, the president is calm and appoints him as the student council vice president. Hearing this, his eyes open as wide as saucers. She said his first duty as vice president to play PSO2. PSO2 is the widely used acronym for a high-speed wireless Ether protocol. ARCs are the members belonging to this battle and are responsible for eradicating the Darker. Itsuki asks his friend to teach him the PSO2. His friend is amazed to hear him as the new vice president. Itsuki is with the president and the team. He is asking for the reasons for appointing him only as the vice president. His good grades and discipline are why the student council needed an immediate replacement. The academy needs to report about the game to build social networks, and providing governance worthy of the school is the council's reason for being. He has to play the game for school. Itsuki, with the help of his friend, succeeded in initiating PSO2 and creating a character for himself. The character is similar to Itsuki with advanced weapons and a suit. He gets a brief introduction with Soro, a robot wandering here, an expert player, and available to advise those seeking it. He is a veteran and helps the newbies. An emergency of the attack of Darkers on the urban zone reported. All are moving towards the space fleets. Soro tries to stop Itsuki, but he rushes towards the urban zone. He knows nothing about the game and the Darker. There are flying monsters all around him and he is saving himself from these. They come in various shapes and sizes with the common characteristic of black bodies and red cores. He doesn't even know the use of a weapon, so he is about to peel off his skin by Darkers, but Soro saves him. He also teaches him about some of the advanced features of the weapon and instructs him. He manages to kill some of the Darker by enabling the shooting mode of the weapon. Soro appreciates him. Also, the president monitors him on a screen and praises his efforts on the very first day. He submits the PSO2 report to the president the next day and she appreciates him well. In addition, she advises him to take this game seriously and not let it affect his grades. Itsuki is so perfect at all the given tasks that everyone is happy with the decision of Rina to appoint him as vice president. The professor introduces a new transfer student in the class named Aika. She is a daughter of artistic parents, who spends most of her time overseas, and she is great with leg strengthening activities and swimming. She is a bit rude and organized and a Pikachu is always on her shoulder. She is weird and follows Itsuki to the men's bathroom. He is screaming at her and asking her to go to the women's bathroom. But Itsuki's friends like Aika and follow her everywhere. She is about to punch him but stops in between and runs to the women's bathroom. Her personality is suspicious. Itsuki follows every command of the student council and amazes them with his sincerity and punctuality. He is heading towards the dormitory, where Aika follows him and they are moving together, chatting and discussing the place. Itsuki is helping her to know all about the rules and regulations of the students' dorms. He lay down at his bed, all tired, and instantly go to sleep. He dreams of kissing the president. He wakes up with a jerk and shouts out loud by seeing Aika above him. because girls and boys are not allowed to move to their opposite dorms. Other girls think of Itsuki as a creep and he probably lures her to his room. They are writing a written apology and Itsuki is moving to his room to start the adventure of PSO2. He is in the space fleet and Aika is spotted at a distance. Followers are also the players, but those who leave or lose the game because of poor communication or other reasons. They are also called loners. Itsuki is discussing his progress with his friend as he is at level 15, killing all darkers and left with no defeat even once. All other fellow members are behind him. His friend tells him about some tips to rank higher in the PSO2. He talks about Soro as the Lone Wolf, the name given to him by all ARC's members. But Soro doesn't meet up with people. Instead, he uses them as his compensation. So he uses Itsuki and he thinks that he is playing the whole time perfectly. He gets sad and does not turn his reports further. The president is worried about the continuous disappearance of Itsuki from the game. And Soro is also blaming him for being dreamy about his surroundings. He says that Soro misbehaved if you didn't experience your surroundings and play recklessly. He didn't either submit the reports on time. The president is screaming in her mind in front of Itsuki, but does not say anything to him, because she is the worst communicator. She is playing the game and curses Soro. He is entangled in a large cage and a huge monster will kill him. Itsuki instantly logs in, enters there and saves him. Both apologizes for their misbehavior. They return to spaceship after a great fight, enjoying a concert and they are now friends. Itsuki submits the report and the president appreciates it. Aika approaches the president and asks about choosing Itsuki as a member of ARCs. She replies by stating an ongoing study that the academy focuses on, i.e., who thinks students waste time playing online games. These games also affect their grades badly and the student council's purpose is to prove this theory wrong. Aika introduces herself as an expert and advanced level player of the game in front of the whole council, and everyone gets stunned to hear her expertise. The president appoints her as an important member of the council and the advisor of the vice president. Soro advises Itsuki to connect and bond with other people to explore the real fun of PSO2. Aika says the same thing, so is the president. Now Itsuki is discussing how to connect with people in the game and from now on he will also be there to help him. He was waiting for a city tournament to finish before joining the game and now it is over. So he is now joining the game as an ARC's member. His friend forbids Itsuki to use his real identity in the game. Also, he has a crew in the game and introduces his connections to him. Now they are friends online as well as in real life. Roleplay in the game is creating your own desired character in the game and fighting and talking with that character. It can be different from real life. Everyone can get his desired attire and can also hide his identity. Party play is making parties in the game. Each party consists of 4 members and several parties can join in the fighting. But 12 people can join at a time. Everyone in the Itsuki's crew has unique abilities and they fight mysteriously in the battle. It seems that Itsuki is enjoying the battle. It is his first time fighting with enormous darkers in a team. The president appreciates his efforts and hands him some chores to perform. A newbie helps him with these tasks and is very thankful to him. Itsuki is in the spaceship. He suggests Soro to join his party and a new member is also welcomed. But the new member is arrogant and doesn't help Itsuki in the battle, while his friend keeps screaming to save him from a distance. However, he does not listen and leaves Itsuki in danger. After this, Soro saves him. On returning to the spaceship, Itsuki asks about his rude behavior, but he doesn't reply politely. Itsuki finds out that it is the newbie who helps him with the student council chores. He tried to hide his identity in the game, but Itsuki exposed him. He doesn't appear in the council the next day and keeps himself locked in the room. The president asks Itsuki to make him appear like before, both in real life and online. Itsuki tries to get him out, but he doesn't open the lock. So, Itsuki approaches him in the game and connects with him. He is telling to open the room in the game. The member is in despair, because he never wanted to reveal his real-life identity to anyone in the game. But Itsuki exposed him in front of everyone. The member only wanted to spend his life on his own in the game, as in real life nobody likes him. By acting boldly in the game, he can spend his life according to his terms and nobody would consider him a loser anymore. However, Itsuki explains to him the real truth of life, as he is a nice guy and he will remain alone online and offline if he continues behaving like this. He understands and comes out of the room, apologizes to everyone for being rude and joins the party. They are in the mid of the battle with the Darkers and succeed. The president calls Itsuki out to talk and she tells him that she is the Soro. Itsuki is not shocked, because he already figured out that by all the quotes and sayings by both Soro and the president at the same time later. President is embarrassed and asks him to keep it a secret. The president is trying to ask Itsuki on a date, but she is shy. Itsuki understands and stuns her wish. He is dreaming all day about the date. Finally, the time comes. They are in the PSO2 Fan Fiesta event, and it is a great opportunity for Itsuki to make new connections. They are having as much fun as possible and both are obsessed with PSO2. Itsuki's friend sees them together and he is bewildered, because Itsuki never told him about his date and refused to come with him. Itsuki meets with some real-life ARC's members, which are absolutely different from their online characters. Itsuki's friend is so gloomy that Itsuki prefers his date instead of friendship. Aika gives him an energy drink called HP Recovery Items and leaves without showing her face. He follows her. Itsuki and the president are with their offline fans. He instantly gets an invitation to join the online game from his friend, talks weirdly, and disappears without saying anything. Itsuki notices some danger and asks everyone to help in rescuing his friend. They all split up and start searching. Finally, they find him and console him to join and try to make him convinced that he matters to them a lot. Indeed, he was kidding and got stuck in the toilet and everybody got mad at him and left. They all return to their dorms. Aika is a perfectionist and interested in Itsuki, but her confession is unclear and she also doesn't say anything clearly. She is amazingly brilliant at playing basketball as well as in academics. Everyone is amazed at her brilliance. President and Itsuki are leaving for an event on a bus and Aika sneaks into the bus and sits in front of them. President seems to be jealous and asks about their relationship and dating rumors. Itsuki refuses and Aika says that she is accidentally on the same bus, but the president is not convinced. They talk about PSO2 the whole way. Itsuki talks bluntly with Aika and the president gets insecure. The destination arrives and Aika leaves. They attend the event. However, the president is all thinking about Aika and her business here. Itsuki suggests that she may be in the nearest shopping mall. The president comes to see her and after a long time, they find her. She is looking at the animals playing and smiling. The president gets mental instincts and suddenly builds a soft corner in her heart for Aika. They hang out together, do some shopping, and eating. Aika is great at gymnastics. She is helping a kid to find her balloon and parents. The president remembers the disturbing things that happened long ago in her childhood. She was a neglected child in childhood. Soro changed its attire and now the president looks the same as in the game in real life. Itsuki, Aika, and the president are on the battlefield and killing Darkers. Aika saves her Pikachu and both recognize Aika with her moves. They ask for online friendship, but she refuses by saying that if they joined, they would fail the battles. All the student council members are going to a training event at the hot springs. Itsuki's friend wants to join but can't because he is not a council member. Aika also refused. Itsuki is excited. The president forbids him from playing PSO2 until the coming midterm exams, because his grades get lower due to excessive playing of games. During the meeting, his grades embarrassed her in front of other members. Everyone is enjoying the games, but Itsuki is busy studying. A student council member tells him that the president designed all these workbooks for him to pass the exam. Itsuki is working hard to pass the exam. At night, he goes for an open-air bath, gets a chance to play PSO2, and starts playing. His friend in the game waited for him for a long and asks for the trip. Suddenly he notices Aika in the bath and screams out loud. He leaves the game immediately. On the other hand, the president comes to offer Itsuki the food and he is not in the room. She looks for him and finally gets him with Aika in the open-air bath. Itsuki lied to her that he was alone. Aika instantly flew out of the pool and everybody shouts at her jump. In an instant, their host shouts out loud as he sees a Darker moving out of the screen. They rush towards him, but they don't trust him. They consider it an alcohol-based hallucination. In the next scene, Itsuki and the president play a game during class. President is planning all her plans with Itsuki and neglecting other council members, where they get jealous. A member plays a game and a Darker appears outside the screen. Aika rushes towards it and the member gets missing. The scene switches to a meeting, where all club heads discuss an after-party. The president badly wants an after-party event, but everyone is against it. They get the news of the members missing. They all are engaged in finding her all around, but can't find them anywhere. Then they decide to enter the game and find her in the game. Finally, after a long search, Itsuki and her presence find her in a cage covered with tremendous ropes and burning coils. Darkers attack them and a battle starts. Itsuki is surrounded by Darkers and kills them in one go with his advanced weapon. The president is also with him in rescuing the member. He is about to save her, but a flying Darker stops him in between. With extraordinary skills, he jumps bluntly and kills all of them. Itsuki and the president only remember a cut on the member's hand by the Darker, and then they fainted. Aika reaches there and with her exceptional flying jumps, she saves the member. While saving her, Aika reveals her identity and Itsuki gets attacked by many darkers. The next morning the member is in the school and doesn't remember anything. Itsuki inquires about the mark on her hand, but she doesn't know about it. Aika lies with Itsuki about rescuing the member the previous night. So, he is super confused. Itsuki follows Aika everywhere to reveal the truth. But the whole school gets rumored that he is going to confess his love for her. The president is angry at this and even in the game, she is upset. In the spaceship, they also hear about several people missing in the city. Suddenly a state of emergency emerges. The scene switches to real life where Itsuki is sneaking out Aika in the mall. But she notices him and asks him to join if he has some interest in her. He is about to ask, but she disappears and Itsuki gets involved with one of his fans. He returns to school and the president is super aggressive at him for not answering her calls. Meanwhile, the battle starts and they jump into the fight, flying darkers with colossal bodies and terrible fins flying all around. Itsuki is fighting with all his potential and killed the majority of them. His advanced weapon is enough to kill them and he gets a transformation and sees Aika there. He asks about his transformation, but she leaves without answering. In real life, he enters the girls' dorm and the guard stops him. But he rushes towards Aika to find out about her mysterious activities and looks. Instantly he notices a darker coming out of his screen and tries to confiscate him. But Aika helps him and saves him from the monster. He is just figuring out things from a distance. He transforms into new attire. A sparkling light turns him into a new one with advanced weapons. He attacks the darker and it disappears. Itsuki welcomes into the Oracle, which is a real world with real-life darkers and NPC members. These members are not dreamers in the game. Even PSO2 is not just a game, it's a real, living, breathing world. Aika is also an NPC and darkers are the ones that use human powers to enter the Drakfalts. The vessels are the bridges between the real world and the darker. Darker uses people with high potential powers and photon abilities. Unfortunately, Itsuki possesses that power. That's why darkers attack him again and again. Aika has a unique photon ability and her mission is to eliminate darkers from the Earth. Aika is also responsible for holding a tight eye on Itsuki. His leader asks her to present Itsuki as an attraction for darkers, which is how they can catch them. Aika is highly against this and refuses to do this. The whole school is preparing for the festival. And Aika is missing, so everyone is worried about her. Itsuki gets attacked by a darker. He is super colossal and can turn huge buildings into dust with only one punch. The monster attacks him while Aika saves him. She gets badly injured instead of having expert level expertise. Itsuki transforms himself and cuts one of the darker fins with his advanced weapon. They finally succeed in killing the monster. Aika is chatting with Itsuki, and finally she laughs at his joke for the first time. Itsuki is feeling more robust and harder than before. The school festival day comes and the president is so sad about the rumors of dating and fornication between Itsuki and Aika. Itsuki kept saying that it was not true, but nobody believes it. Aika has changes his dress for the festival to be the chief maid of the school, and she looks stunning. The president asks about their date from Aika and finds out that Itsuki had been hiding his feelings for a longer time. The president accepts it with a heavy heart, but still, she advises Aika to take care of Itsuki and set aside herself. Aika promises to keep him safe even at the cost of her life. On the other hand, Aika and some other members are fighting with darkers, who possess spiky bodies with large hedges. They are all experts and possess highly polished skills and they can get rid of them soon. The festival is in bloom, all ARC's members are at the spot and enjoying themselves. Itsuki and the president talk about Aika, while gossiping president asks about their date. Itsuki refuses instantly and makes her clear about Aika's intentions behind saving him. She is all doing this because of PSO2. The president blushes. Suddenly a terrible draker with huge wings and spikes appears there and attacks Itsuki. The president is stunned, but soon she turns into an ARC's member and hits it with her guns. Multiple attacks at a single time are thrown at it, but it is so strong that these attacks can't harm it. Instantly a large group of darkers appear behind them. A ferocious fight starts between them and Aika also reaches there. The president gets trapped in their cage and an uncountable number of monsters hit up from all sides, creating great disasters in the city. The whole EYES unit gets destroyed badly, and the monsters approach their headquarters. These creatures are much more fierce than before. Their wings contain large laser bodies, which emerge rays of destructive elements, which are able to cut bodies into two. Aika advises him to avoid it and allow her to handle them. The school's management team is super worried about their president, and Itsuki. Aika decides to head forward, distracts them and asks Itsuki to come after her. Itsuki is a photon adept and an ARCS member, and he is surely a target. He is now entering the Dark Felts, where he finds the president, but actually it is a trap. The Darker turned into the president. He approaches him and ties him up into ropes. He remembers all the people who love him, and for the sake of successfully completing the school festival, he screams out loud. He sees the president entangled in the cage. She is completely paralyzed and unconscious. He musters up all his courage, screams at the top of his voice and cuts all the ropes with his advanced weapon. He never gives up and finally succeeds in finding the president. Both of them turn into Avengers and fight bravely. He brings back the president and the Darkers vanish. They call out loud their vows and hope for a lightning future. They collectively attack, produce a huge beam of light and kill the monster. In the next scene, Aika reveals that she comes to Earth to complete her mission. Now it's complete and she disappears. Itsuki plans to confess to the president, but she is so shy. The president is finally declaring Miss Sega Academy Grand Prix. The president is suddenly leaving his place and giving her designation to Itsuki. Aika appears there for a new mission. After this episode ends, watch the video of the left side if you have missed the previous video, and subscribe to Annie Summary for more anime recaps.